it almost bothers me that they let Mookie Betts walk. Mookie Betts wanted $300 million. He was 26, same thing as Soto. He's turned out to be one of the greatest players of this generation, which we already knew. Won an MVP, won a championship in 18. And they let him walk because they didn't want to pay him $300 million. They might be in for the sweepstakes for Juan Soto. That ticket could be $700 million. You could have had Mookie Betts for the rest of his career for $300 million. And now you're sitting there. He's in the Dodgers. He's won 2 championships with them. He's one of the best players in the game. And now you're in the sweepstakes for Juan Soto, maybe for $700 million. That's why Hein Bloom is no longer the GM.
And I'm in love with the good life. Can't give it up. Make it to the top. Keep climbing. I wanna live it up. The good life. I'm coming up. I'm coming up. The good life. Good life. Oh, good life. Good life. Good life.
Boom! Coming in hot, Chichi. What's going on, brother?
What's up, bro? On the road, Sean Casey is here for awards week, talking baseball. He's going to be doing Rookie of the Year tonight. But before we get to that, Sean, I thought about something over the weekend. I think you might have done better against Jake Paul than Mike Tyson did, because you're in really, really great shape for your age. I know Mike Tyson's in pretty good shape for his age, but we were talking before we came on. I'm still tired from waiting that whole thing out on Friday.
Chichi, it's the same way, dude. I was like, should I watch it? Should I not? And I'm like, all right, I'm going to watch it. I called up my buddy, Ryan Johns. I'm like, do you want to come over and watch this? And I was going to call a couple other guys. I'm like, maybe I should. Anyway, I stayed up and watched it. You know me when I go to bed early. So I'm like, all right, hopefully it was like, it was like 9:30. I'm like, okay, there's going to be, the girls are going to fight, and then they'll probably be on at 10. Well, they didn't come on until like midnight. It was ridiculous. But I was like, Chich, after it was over, it was exciting seeing Tyson come to the ring though, like by himself. Jake Paul, dude, Jake Paul is the master promoter of himself. It's
You gotta give him credit. Gotta give him credit. Love him or hate him, the guy made $40 million on that fight.
Exactly, and it was it was shutting down Netflix too. That was pissing me off. Was your thing like circling?
Oh my god, dude! They have football games on Christmas Day that they gotta fix.
They gotta fix that. Yeah, they gotta figure that out. But dude, I after the fight, well, first off, I think Dana White had it right. Dana White's the one guy. You're listening to everybody. Tyson's gonna get him. Tyson's gonna kill him. And Dana White just said, no 25-year-old, no 27-year-old man should get in the ring with a 58-year-old man. It's just not going to happen. And as I'm watching that fight, Dana White's, opinion was like, he was right. He was right. Because, Jake Paul is 27, and it looked like it was a 27 versus a 58-year-old. We just remember Tyson as a 27-year-old just knocking people out one punch. Right. So, but I did feel change when it was over. I turned off the TV, sat back on my couch like this, and I was like, they got me. They got me. They got me. They marketed it so well. Tyson's such a polarizing figure. So is Jake Paul. I was like, I gotta watch it. And then at the end, I was like, I should have gone to bed.
I'm the same way. I will say this. You know what the redeeming quality of that was? The girls' fight before was one of the greatest boxing matches I've ever seen, man, woman, or child, dude. Those girls are amazing.
It was the female version of Hagler Hearns back in the 80s.
It's a great call. That's exactly what I was
thinking.
Hagler
and Hearns are just unloaded. You're like, how are these guys not going down? I mean, they were just, and it was, dude, I thought, was it Serrano? Was that her name?
Yes.
She should have won the fight, dude.
I think she did win. I think she should have won. And the other girl dude, her eye was falling. Her part of her skin was falling on the ground.
She was headbutting her.
Well, the Serrano's a lefty and Taylor's a righty. I was kind of into that. I thought it was pretty funny that it was Serrano versus Taylor. So it was like Jake Taylor versus Pedro.
That's right.
Different name spelling, but.
Oh, dude, I never thought of that. That's great. But, well, dude, really quick, last boxing point was that, at the end they were saying that Serrano's fought 50-some fights. She's only been cut open twice, and it was both against Taylor. And they went back to like 4 other fights. The 4 other fights previous, Taylor cut all them open too with headbutts. So, come on, dude. Like, the manager was right for Serrano. Like, get a better referee in there and know that if somebody's headbutting you, you can't lead with the head like she was.
No, you can't. Plus, Serrano, I think, is the best. She might be the best ever. She's won in like every class.
She should have won that. She won that fight. So.
Anyway, so that kind of salvaged and it's free. You got to say that. We used to spend $100 on Mike Tyson beating somebody up in 30 seconds, and you'd be like, oh.
That's right.
And now it's like, that's all right. All right, so heavyweight battles tonight in the Rookie of the Year. You said 6 Eastern on MLB Network. You're going to be doing a show.
Yep, me, Greg, and Tom Verducci.
Let's start with the AL because we kind of fell off that when we were going there. But the AL, you got 2 Yankees, 2 guys you know, and who's the third guy?
Colton Cowser.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Orioles fan. Colton Cowser.
Steele, Austin Wells, Colton Cowser.
So what's your?
I think when you look at it, I mean, Wells, he had an incredible year behind the dish, getting in the 4-hole with the Yankees. I mean, I think he at some point kind of saved their season. They were really struggling. They couldn't figure out when Stanton was down. They're like, man, who's going to hit 4? Who's going to, this doesn't make sense. They didn't have Jazz yet. And Wells, he just came up so big, dude. He was like so productive in that 4-hole, huge OPS, big numbers, obviously. Also, his runners and scoring position, too, hit like 296. So it was a very clutch for the Yankees. Had an incredible year. Also, Chinch, I don't know if you know this. I'm sure you do being a Yankee fan, but probably most people don't. Dude, he's going to win a Gold Glove here soon. He's one of the best. He's one of the best pitch framers, and he throws a ton of guys out. His DRS is incredible. Got to give a ton of credit to Tanner Swanson, the catching coach for the Yankees, who worked so hard with him. So I think on both fronts, Wellesley does well. Colton Cowser had a nice year. I think he had 24 homers, something like that, 69 ribbies, not bad. But Luis Gil, dude, 15-7 with a 3.5 ERA. When you go back and look at his year, didn't finish strong, but he started off so strong with those first 10 starts, I believe. He was like lights out, a sub-2 ERA. And the biggest thing about it was, they were missing Garrett Cole out the gates. And they're like, who's going to replace Garrett Cole? How's this going to go? And you know what? Talk about Luis Gil stepped up, made the team out of spring training, just had some incredible stuff, fastball slider combination, and was pretty much lights out. So him, with his body of work being 15-7, doing what the Yankees did, I think Luis Gil is going to run away with this one.
I think I agree. Statistically, too, we forget the Yankees only won the division by 3 games, okay? And then the Orioles were 5 up on the Royals and the Tigers. But so the Yankees won 94 games. The lowest wild card team made it at 86 games. And what was he, 10-0? Was he 10-0? If he were 5-5 in those games, the last month of the whole month of the season, we wouldn't be talking, are the Yankees a World Series contender? We'd be like, the Yankees could get knocked out of this thing. So I agree with you. I think that's pretty much how it lies there.
Yeah, and at the end of it, I think he just ran out of gas. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think he had Tommy John the year before. I mean, just a lot of the body of work was big. Fastball started getting elevated a little bit. Couldn't bury the slider the way he was, and it's the way it goes as a rookie. Then all of a sudden, mentally, you don't know where to go. You don't know where to lock in on it, and how to get your focus back. And all of a sudden, there's the beginning. You don't want to give up 4 or 5 runs in the 4th or 5th inning. You're like, what happened here? What happened to this outing? It's like, no, that's how you pitch in the big leagues. You got to be able to navigate when you don't feel your best, when you don't have your best stuff. Really quick, I remember talking to Roger Clemens at the 2004 All-Star game. We were having a cool conversation in the training room, and he was, I got talking to him about, we just got talking about pitching and hitting and stuff like that. And he was saying, you know what, Case? He goes, I'm at my best when I don't have my best stuff, because then I really have to lock in and make pitches. I really have to pitch. And I think that's such a veteran mentality. When you don't have your best stuff, sometimes that's where you separate yourself from the younger kids. The younger kids, when they don't have their best stuff, they don't know how to navigate that start as well. And I think when I looked at Luis Gil, I thought, okay, man, this guy doesn't understand how to navigate yet with not having his best stuff. I think that was the big difference. And I think he's only going to get better. But like I said, I think he runs away with it tonight.
No, I think so too. And yes, he's only going to get better. And he had a great learning season. And of course, like his mentor, and he said it, and the other guy says, Garrett Cole, who pretty much knows how to pitch, man, and was the young kid coming up with the great stuff, who actually is a better pitcher now than he is a thrower. Obviously, you saw that at the last game he pitched in the World Series. All right, moving on to the NL Rookie of the Year. We don't have to go too far into this because we talked a lot about who we think might win, but it's You got Cheerios, you got Jackson Merrill, and you got Paul Skenes.
Yeah.
If I'm a betting man, I would bet on Skenes. Although we've talked about this, in any given year, all three of these guys could be rookie of the year. All three of them could have had rookie. They have
Right.
rookie of the year seasons.
There's no doubt about it, and I'm excited tonight on the network to ask these guys a few questions. I was just on the flight, thinking of some of the things I wanted to ask these guys. But I think when you look at a guy like Paul Skenes, who's going to hands down win the rookie of the year, I think it was close. It was close with Jackson Merrill, and now, at the end when Skenes finishing, it's not close. But when you look at a guy like Skenes, man, I think one great thing about him is he's always looking to get better. And I think as a fan, you look and go, what could he possibly do to get better? I'm excited to ask him that tonight. What are you doing? If you could zoom out and be a scout of Paul Skenes, what are you doing this offseason to grow as a pitcher?
That's awesome.
I'm going to ask him that because I think that's what we all want to know because he knows. Do I not locate well enough early in the count? Do I need to, be able to put guys away better with my curve? Whatever it is, there's definitely something he's going to be working on this offseason. So I'm interested to see what that is.
Yeah, it's funny. You always talk about the elites of the elites that you've seen play and how they're different. They're just different in general. Like, I go back to, just to make a basketball comp, like Michael Jordan couldn't shoot a three-pointer when he came up for years. And then he eventually wound up in, a three-point shooting contest. And he had that one game in against, who was that, Portland, where he had 46 points in the first half, just dropping threes left and right. Because the great ones work on things that they don't even need to work on to master them. Is that right?
Dude, no, the great ones take whatever their weaknesses are, which they think they are, and then like LeBron James wasn't a good 3-point shooter the same way. And that's what are you gonna have to do? You're gonna have to make 300 shots a day until you figure it out. Now he's became one of the best 3-point shooters out there. So repetition is the mother of skill. I think the biggest thing about that, Chinch, is you got to want to put in the work because the work changes the neural pathways, right? And when you start to change the neural pathways, that's when you become, man, look at this guy's incredible 3-point shooter. How did he do it? You know what? He got the repetitions in and he changed his brain. He actually changed his brain. And I think that's the biggest thing is that's what you're trying to do. But you have to get to a certain number of repetitions. And I mean on purpose repetitions, not just I told somebody the other day, I go, dude, if you go into the batting cages, and you take 200 swings, what were those 200 swings look like? Did you get in there and just pull 200 balls into the side of the net? I go, you actually got worse. That you didn't get better. But if you had an on-purpose repetition, which is one of the tools of Breakthrough Pro, on-purpose repetition, and you were trying to fire 70 balls in that left center corner, then you're going to go 70 balls back up the middle. Then maybe you were trying to move the tee back and forth and work some of that stuff. Now you've gotten better. And when you think of the great ones, dude, that's what they're doing, man. That's what they're doing. They're figuring out how do I split those hairs and what work needs to be done to do that.
That's great stuff. So I'm going to get to next is one guy who seriously has a work ethic. All the Yankees talked about the way this guy approaches the game, his batting practice, everything he does. He did everything that he was asked of and more. Maybe he had one of his best seasons. Juan Soto is just walking around America and North America, and he's talked to the Red Sox, the Blue Jays. The Mets made their case over the weekend, and today he's meeting with the Yankees, dude. First question, though. Can you imagine what it would be like to say, I'm going to pick wherever I want to do and whenever I want to do it for baseball next year? You were a great pro, dude, and people wanted you. But to be the guy where you go, I have 30 choices that I can choose from for my future of my life.
Yeah, no, what a spot. I mean, this is the spot that every big leaguer wishes to be in at free agency, man. That's the biggest thing. After that 6 years is up, that's why he didn't want to do it. That's why he was offered 15 years, $450 million by the Nationals. I remember everybody saying, what an idiot. I can't believe he turned that down. He's like, now I'm betting on myself. I'm betting on myself that at the end of the day, I'm worth more than $450 million, and I'm young. So if I get hurt, who cares? I'm going to be back the next year. No one controls the strike zone the way this guy does. It's pretty incredible. His left center power is next level. What separates him is he can let the ball travel so deep. That's the difference between Juan Soto and everyone else, and he can do it with power. He can let the ball travel deep and then shoot you to left field, shoot you to left center in Yankee Stadium, which is no joke. That left center gap at 399 is absolutely no joke. So I mean, he really has set himself up, Chinch, to be the guy that can pick his ticket. Pick where he wants to go, and it's. I mean, I'm sure if you're Scott Boras, you're like, yes, no one could screw me over this offseason. You know what I mean? I got Juan Soto, and he is the prize commodity. He's what Ohtani was last offseason.
Yeah, and he has nobody to wait for or do anything. There's no class that he is in where it's like, Pete Alonso wants to see where he's going to go because at least, maybe that open if he doesn't stay with the Yankees, then that gives Pete Alonso more leverage to maybe go to the Yankees. Guys like that, the hitters, the offensive guys are all like, please sign soon, Juan. Please sign soon because then we're going to pick and choose and trades could happen and all that. I mean, okay, let me ask this quick. Jays and Red Sox. Do you think they are actually in it, or do you think it's deep down just Mets, Yankees?
No,
And
they're
Dodgers
definitely. The Blue Jays have the money, first off, to get him. That's a team that has the money to go get him. There's no doubt about that. But the Red Sox, dude, when I look at the Red Sox, I just have to. It almost bothers me that they let Mookie Betts walk. Mookie Betts wanted $300 million. He was 26, same thing as Soto. He's turned out to be one of the greatest players of this generation, which we already knew. Won an MVP, won a championship in 18. And they let him walk because they didn't want to pay him $300 million. They might be in for the sweepstakes for Juan Soto. That ticket could be $700 million. You could have had Mookie Betts for the rest of his career for $300 million. And now you're sitting there. He's in the Dodgers. He's won 2 championships with them. He's one of the best players in the game. And now you're in the sweepstakes for Juan Soto, maybe for $700 million. That's why Chaim Bloom is no longer the GM of the Boston Red Sox, because he wanted to run that team like the Tampa Bay Rays do. You're the Boston Red Sox. Spend the money. So when I see Soto involved, I actually think that those guys in the front office, Theo Epstein's now part of that. He's like, we got to go get the big dogs. You want to win, you got to spend money. You got to go get your Manny Ramirez's. You got to sign your Mookie Betts' back. You got to make sure Rafael Devers doesn't walk. All the guys back in the day that you brought in, you got to sign Big Papi to a long-term deal. You're the Boston Red Sox. I must admit, I haven't loved watching the Sox these last few years. Like, where are the stars? Where are the star players? They have a lot of great young players. There's no doubt about it. They have maybe the best in the game. They're going to be really good for a long time. But when you look at teams that have young players, there's always a couple superstars in that mix. And I definitely think they're in with Juan Soto, like I said, especially with Theo Epstein being back in the mix in that front office, talking to Warner and Henry and telling those guys, we got to land a big one. We're the Red Sox. We got to get back to winning championships.
Yeah, that's a great point. You know what else is kind of weird? This doesn't always happen this way, but I could visualize him in a Blue Jays uniform. I could visualize him in a Red Sox uniform. Same with the Mets. Of course, we've seen it with the Yankees. I could see him wearing a Dodgers uniform. Like, he fits on all of the great franchises.
Yeah.
And this is going to be something else, man. Do you think it happens sooner rather than later, or vice versa?
I mean, with Boris' history, dude, like, it happens later. I don't know. Like, you go back to last year, dude. Montgomery signed in February. Bellinger signed in March, I think. Like Snell didn't sign till late. I mean, I don't know that probably the offers weren't there, but those teams waited him out. I think Major League Baseball would love to see him sign at the winter meetings because that's what you want. And if on MLB Network, I'm going to be working the winter meetings this year. You don't want to leave him in the winter meetings like, oh, Juan Soto didn't sign. Like that, like with Judge signing a couple years ago, like the last day. That was big news. It was fun. Everyone's fired up. It gets things going for baseball. But Scott Boras doesn't care about that, dude. He cares about getting the most money, the most value for his guy. I think the fact that Soto is meeting with these teams so early, I think that says that he wants to get it done. And I think him wanting to get it done, you tell Boras, hey, listen, I want to get this thing moving. Do you think – now this is my question to you, bro. Do you think the Yankees are going to be willing to go to these, $700 million?
I think the interesting thing is there are so many really good contingency plans out there for any one of these teams. Like we've mentioned, like Pete Alonso's there. You got Bregman out there. I mean, you're not getting the transitional player for history. But there are a lot of guys. There are a lot of guys on the trade market. There's starting pitchers that are free agents and on the trade market where if I say like, okay, I could spend 40 million, 45 million on one guy per year, or I can get two guys for 52 million, and one's my number 2 pitcher now, and the other one's my 3 hitter. What's better for me as a franchise? It's a tough question. It's tougher in baseball than the other sports to answer that question.
I think this. I think if the Yankees, I don't think they're going to be in the bidding above 600. I really don't. I just, in my heart, I don't think the Yankees are going to be willing to do that. Do they want to have him back? Yeah. Should Soto be a Yankee? I think so. I think he looked great there. I think the city loves him, the Latino community there. I mean, it's incredible. Like it was amazing. I think this is what happens. I think if Soto walks, they go and get Teoscar Hernandez and Willie Adames. And they put Adames at third. You move Jazz to second. You got Teoscar in the outfield. And all of a sudden, you're like, okay, it's going to be way cheaper than Juan Soto. It's not going to be a 10-year haul. Those will probably be, 5-year deals for each of those guys, maybe. So you got 5-year window. You got Judge for 7 more years and Cole for like 5. So the window's not 10. The window's probably these next 5 years of like, okay, this is where you go. So if Soto does walk, you got Teoscar Hernandez sitting there, and you got Adames, dude, who's gonna, hit over 30 home runs this year, drove in 100 runs, unbelievable clubhouse guy, plays a great defense, and he's going to be playing out of position. Obviously you have Volpe there, who's one of the best defenders in the game, so Adames could play short, but you're really getting a great athlete. You can put him anywhere you want. So those are 2 options I think that the Yankees will probably be really interested in and be willing to go top dollar for those guys if they're not going to go $600-700 million for one guy.
I totally agree with that. Here's my last question, and then you got to start getting ready for your shows later on. Do you think there's any chance Juan Soto would sign back with the Yankees for, let's say they offer him $650 and somebody else offers him $750?
Ooh, $100 million? No, he's not coming back.
The only thing I can say about that is Jalen Brunson did it for the Knicks, and I wonder if those 2 guys have spoken. Jalen Brunson was in somewhat of the same position that Juan Soto is. He's not the Juan Soto of the NBA. I'm not making that comment, really but monetarily speaking, they make more money in the NBA. Monetarily speaking, he took one of the biggest haircuts ever to stay in New York, and if I'm either the Mets or the Yankees, I have already recruited Jalen Brunson to say, why did he stay here for less? Yeah. That would be one of my little game plans if I were one of them. Who knows if anybody did that?
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. And the Yankees would be the team where I think the Yankees would be the team where it'd say, you know what, I want to stay here. I'm happy. I don't know if $100 million, that'd be tough, because I think Stevie Cohen for the Mets is going to be in for some big jack. I think he'd walk away from 50.
50, I could see that.
But which is so ridiculous to even say, but I think he would. I think if the Yankees got to 600 and the number was 650, I think he would go to the Yankees.
Oh my God, accountants all over the country right now who deal with celebrities and rich people are like, they have so many numbers crunched to how much money you can save and make on those 50 million. Woo.
Yeah.
All right, it's gonna be fun. I'm glad you're rocking up the network. This is a great week for baseball.
Yeah, it'll be great. I'm here for a couple of days. I also want to give a shout out we just got done with Breakthrough Pro Pitt Baseball. Our 8th week was yesterday, man. We had an incredible time. Those kids are like bought in, all in, and it was just an incredible time. So I really enjoyed that. I also want to throw out January 5th. We start Breakthrough Pro, the 5th season, a 6th season of it. And it starts January 5th. And I just want to say, listen, if you're looking to, become the best version of yourself and develop some habits and really lock into who you want to be coming into 2025 especially, come join Breakthrough Pro. Because at the end of the day, I think we have proven results. We have results, and we have a proven system to get the results you want. So you can sign up at breakthrough-pro.com. Come check it out, and I'm going to keep throwing this out there on our shows just to because I know it'll help anyone that signs up.
Awesome.
Awesome. All right, Chinchy, love you, my man. Everyone out there, we appreciate you listening. Fired up about that. And we will see everybody tomorrow. See you, man.